What's up, everybody? Week 1 in the NFL is finally underway. The Bills took down the Rams 31-10. I was way off on that pick, but so be it. I had no issue taking points with the defending Super Bowl champions, LA Rams. I know they lost a few players. It's going to affect them, but I still think they're a top team in the NFL heading into this year. First game I got up, Indy -7 at Houston, +7, over under 45.5. Colts added Matt Ryan, have one of the best offensive lines, best backs in the game in Jonathan Taylor. Indy is 8-2 straight up and against spread their last 10 versus Houston. The under is 18-6 the last 24 meetings. Under has hit the last 6 in a row in Houston. Colts are 15-5-2 against spread the last 22 meetings versus the Texans. The road team has a 12-3-2 against the spread record. Advantage, Indy has the better D-line as well. I think this number is bang on. I like the Colts here. Davis Mills under center for the Texans now that they've lost Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. I'd like the Colts to win this somewhere around 27-20. I think that Houston might just sneak in the cover on the spread at 7 is where the number lies as I'm making this video. I think Indy does win the game though. Like I said, 27-20, something like that. San Fran -7 at Chicago, +7, over under 40.5. These two have split their last 10 games, each team winning 5 times. The road team is 5-1 against the spread in this matchup. Trey Lance takes over center for Jimmy G, who is now the backup with San Fran. They have probably the best backup quarterback in the NFL. I can't think of one better. If there is, I apologize. You guys can remind me, comment, whatever. I'm not really stuck on that argument. Deebo Samuel, kid can do everything. George Kittle, tight end. I think San Fran has a chance to go back, but Trey Lance, he's got to prove it to me first. And in year 2, I don't know what he's going to be like under center for San Fran. I think they're going to get off to a bit of a slow start. Justin Fields under center in year 2. I think he might be a little more comfortable this year. I think the Bears can stay in this game because of the reasons I stated. Trey Lance might come out wonderful, so be it. But I feel a lot safer taking 7 points with the Bears, even though I think San Fran still wins this game. I think this is more like a 24-21, 2017 type of score. Next up, New Orleans Saints, -5.5 at the Atlanta Falcons. Over-under is 43 in this game. Saints are 7-3 straight up and against spread their last 10 versus Atlanta. No Matt Ryan for the Falcons anymore. Saints, a healthy Jameis Winston, a healthy Michael Thomas. Falcons are rolling with Marcus Mariota under center. The Saints' key players are healthy, but how long is it going to take for them to get fully back into rhythm, into their timing? I know the Saints are the better team here. Once again, the underdogs tend to roll in week 1. I tend to overthink week 1 quite often this year. I'm keeping it simple. I'm going to take the points with Atlanta. I do think the Saints win this game, but once again, more like a 27-23, more like a 4-point win for the Saints on the road to start the year. Jacksonville Jaguars, +3 at Washington. The Commanders, they roll with Carson Wentz under center now. Wentz, he'll get you touchdowns, and he'll also create a lot of unforced turnovers for you. Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson coming in to try and calm the ship. He is great with quarterbacks. Look what he did with Nick Foles and the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl when Wentz went down. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I still think the Jags are a bad team. I understand why they're getting hyped up with the first overall picks and whatnot, the high draft picks, I should say, that they've had in recent years. I don't like this game at all. I'm not going to touch it, but if I'm making a pick, I'm going to pick Washington to win this game like 24-17 or something and cover the 3-point spread. I say they win by a touchdown, maybe 4 points, 5 points, somewhere in that 4 to 7 range anyways. Next up, New England +3.5 at the Miami Dolphins, -3.5. Miami Dolphins, we all know the acquisition of Tyreek Hill. how Tua is in a prove-it year with the Dolphins, similar to how Jalen Hurts with my Eagles is in a prove-it year with them this year. I love the weapons Miami has surrounding surrounded him with. I love Miami's changes that they have made. I think the Dolphins are a team where I am buying into the preseason hype. I don't think they're good enough to dethrone the Bills in the division. I have a lot of plays on the Bills to win the division. I just didn't think they could beat the Rams on opening night in LA. Congrats to them once again. The Patriots, Mac Jones. I'm not a believer in Mac Jones. Last year, I don't think Belichick is really a big believer in him either. Look how many times they handed the ball off and relied on that run game and then defense to keep things close. And I like the Miami Dolphins to roll here. I think they're in a good spot. New England's 2-8 against spread in Miami. Miami's 6-4 straight up and against spread their last 10 overall versus the Patriots. Home team 16-5 in the last 21 meetings between these two. I take Miami and I think they roll and cover this game. I like them to win something like 31-17 or like 24-10 or something like that, easily covering the spread. Need a lot of water today, all these teams, and I've been feeling a bit under the weather, but I have to get this video out here for you guys today. And I am pretty fucking pumped for the NFL. It is one of my favorite sports to bet on. I spend most of my bankroll on NFL gambling. I do love my NBA, NHL, MLB, and shit as well. Cleveland +1 at Carolina. I don't think I've seen a player with a bigger chip on his shoulder towards his former team than Baker Mayfield with the Cleveland Browns. How that all played out with them acquiring Deshaun Watson. Watson suspended for the first 11 games. I don't know that that's so good with Cleveland's situation going forward. They've also sustained a few injuries already. I just like Carolina. Christian McCaffrey back healthy for Carolina. He'll be healthy for at least 3 or 4 games this year before he's out for the season. Otherwise, I'd really like Carolina a lot. I think a healthy Carolina, DJ Moore, Baker Mayfield, he could have a big game. Carolina come out and win this 17-10, 17-14, 21-14, something like that. I like Panthers to win this game and cover the spread. Denver -6.5 at Seattle. Another return to face his old team in week 1 of the season. Russell Wilson facing Seattle. Monday night game on top of that. How he goes with his new team is the question that I have. Monday Night Football, Broncos are the better team. I realize that. I understand that. Seattle's always a tough out at home. They do have that big crowd, the 13th man, 12th man for the crowd. That's a big issue in Seattle all the time. Russell Wilson, all the emotions of returning to Seattle. It's going to be packed for sure because the Seahawks, week 1, will have a full stadium. I don't know how that'll fare as the year plays out, and I believe they're rebuilding, retooling, whatever you want to call it, and won't be a major factor in their division or playoff race or anything else this year. This is their Super Bowl game of the year. I expect them to lose, but keep it close. I don't think the Broncos can win this game by a lot. Well, they could. It wouldn't surprise me, but I think the emotions of the game, I see the Broncos winning by like 5-6 points. This number is pretty close. I'm going to roll with Seattle to cover the spread, Denver to win the game 31-27, something along those effects. Next up, Tampa Bay Buccaneers -2.5 at Dallas, +2.5, over under 50.5 in this game. All the drama surrounding Tom Brady, his issues, is Giselle wanting him to retire? Is that's what's causing it? Is it this show or that show that he's doing? He's Tom Brady. He's 45 years old. He wants to take part of training camp off. Look at all the excuses you see around the NFL for veteran players who don't participate in training camp and have these mysterious injuries that are magically recovered by week 1, even though there still might be on the questionable injury report list that comes out Wednesday or Friday. But everybody knows they're playing, and everybody knows they're veterans who just wanted that time off, don't need that extra training camp to get ready for the season. They keep their bodies in tip-top shape. His mind, he knows the schemes, he knows the play calls. There's nothing he hasn't seen before in the NFL that's going to spook him. Dallas Cowboys, they lose Amari Cooper, La'Leo Collins, Trayvon Smith is injured right now. Dak Prescott blaming new shoes for his ankle woes, which could be a fact. Like, who knows? Maybe he's got a blister or a couple blisters from breaking in a pair of new shoes. I'm sure we've all had that happen to us before, so hopefully it is something insignificant like that. I still think the Bucs are the better team. I think Chris Godwin and the rest of the Bucs wideouts, Evans and such, they're going to do enough with Tom Brady to get the win in Dallas. Small favorites on the roads to start the year. This is a tough matchup for Dallas, especially with all the injuries that they're dealing with at the time. Michael Gallup, how healthy is he? There's so many question marks with Dallas right now. And their defense last year, sure, it was good, but look at how many turnovers that defense forced. Can they keep that up for another year in a row? It's so hard for defenses to repeat when so many of them turnovers were like fumbles recovered, like strip sacks, receivers having balls bounce off their hands right into Dallas cornerbacks. And I'm not taking anything away from Dallas defense. I still think they're going to be a good unit, but I don't think they're going to have some of them bounces go their way that they did last year. And I think them turnover numbers that they forced last year on defense are going to just come down a little bit for them, but it's going to be enough to make a difference, especially against top teams and top QBs like Tom Brady. I'm all over the Bucs to win this one by about a touchdown and cover the spread in Dallas to start their season and quiet any of these Tom Brady rumors. Excuse me. Next up, Las Vegas Raiders plus 3.5 at the LA Chargers. The underdog is 19-7 against spread their last 26 meetings. Under is 17-4-1 in the last 22 in LA. The Raiders are 9-4 against spread in LA/San Diego. Carr has now got Devontae Adams, the best or one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, to go along with other factors like Renfrew, Waller, Jacobs, Justin Herbert with Allen, Williams, Everett on the other side. This has all the makings for such an offensive explosion in week one, and it is one of the games I'm most looking forward to, if I'm being honest, of week one, even more so than my Eagles game, because obviously I'm going to watch the Eagles game number one, but they're playing the Detroit Lions, who are nothing but the Hard Knocks whatever story of this fucking offseason. I don't watch Hard Knocks, so I really don't give a fuck about what's been hyped up with the Detroit Lions. I'll touch on them later on in my video. Anyways, the Chargers and the Raiders both have some good defensive players on that side of the football that could squell a little bit of this offensive numbers, hence why the under is hit in LA/San Diego quite a number of times. I don't know. I tend to lean to the Raiders. I like the Raiders a lot this year. I'm thinking about sprinkling a couple bucks on them to win the division. I might have put a small bet on them earlier before the draft to win the division. I can't remember. Kansas City, I still think, is the cream of the crop. The Chargers, this division is just going to be amazing. And the Denver Broncos. I'm not even fucking talking about the Denver Broncos, who I just talked about a game or two ago. This is going to be wild. I love the Raiders to not only cover the spread, but win this game outright. I've got money on them to do both already. I've got a bunch of parlays already in play for this Sunday. Take the Raiders. Take the points. I like them on the money line as well. Kansas City, who I just talked about, minus 6.5 at Arizona, plus 6.5. Arizona, DeAndre Hopkins, one of my favorite receivers in the NFL. He's facing a 6-game suspension. All the Kyler Murray talk with his contract extension and the bullshit. Does he study enough film? Does he do enough off-the-field work to really be a true leader for Arizona? I don't think that's an issue. He still has Zach Ertz to throw the ball to. Kansas City, though, I think that with Juju Smith-Schuster and the weapons that they've still got on offense, Jason Kelce, sorry, Eagles fan here. Travis Kelce, tight end, one of the best tight ends in the NFL, who Mahomes can still throw the ball to. I think Mahomes is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray, but I don't think Kyler Murray is near as bad as people are making him out to be. I think this game could be competitive. I think a touchdown is kind of where this number falls. I see Kansas City winning it by 7, maybe like a 35-28, 42-35, maybe a 28-21 type of game. I like Kansas City to win and slightly cover the spread, although I might lean Arizona closer to game time. I'll watch how this number moves, but that's 6.5 right now. I'll take Kansas City by a touchdown. Green Bay minus 1.5 at Minnesota plus 1.5. Over under 46.5. Oh, by the way, the over under in Kansas City, Arizona was 53.5. Can't remember if I mentioned that. Packers without Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. Is there enough talent on that team, especially in the wide receiver group? We all know Aaron Jones is phenomenal running back for Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is a phenomenal quarterback, one of the best I've seen. Definitely an all-time great and a Hall of Famer. The Vikings have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. They have Dalvin Cook. I love the Vikings. I got money on them to win this division this year, and I think they start the season off with a bang against the Green Bay Packers, who the Vikings hold a slight straight-up edge over the last 10 games at 6-4. These two teams are 5-5 against spread in their last 10 versus each other. I'm going to roll with the home team in this one. I think there's enough talent around Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins is reliable enough to put points up on the board. And Aaron Rodgers, I think, without Devontae Adams, this offense is going to take a bit of a hit. I know their defense is still decent. I think they're still going to be a competitive team this year, but I think Minnesota is going to edge them out, not only in this game, but in the division at the end of the season. Sorry, as I'm having trouble talking all of a sudden. I like the Vikings like 27-24 on a last-second touchdown or a last-minute type field goal or something, and Rodgers just won't have the receiving corpse around him to drive the ball down the field, and there won't be enough time to hand the ball off to Jones to make a difference at the end of the game. Vikings win and cover the spread. Excuse me. New York Giants plus 5.5 at the Tennessee Titans minus 5.5. Over under a 44 in this game. Titans are 6-1 straight up and against the spread, their last 7 versus the Giants. Tennessee, Derrick Henry back. Yes, they lost A.J. Brown to the Eagles. Yes! Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. You'll get a lot of that this year, but I won't be picking them to win every game. Don't worry. I'll try my best to be realistic. I'll look at the numbers, give you guys the numbers. Even though I might pick the Eagles, I'll still give you all the numbers for and against them when I get to their game to support or argue whichever side you want to take, and I'll also give you my opinion on who I think's going to win. Anyways, back to Giants, Tennessee, Titans, Derrick Henry, like I said, losing A.J. Brown. But the Titans don't rely on their passing game. The Titans rely on a top-notch defense and handing the ball off, ground and pound game. Derrick Henry, who I've also got money on to be the rushing yards leader at the end of the season this year. And I don't think the Giants are a very good football team at all. I think they're a bottom 5 team in the NFL. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. As an Eagle fan, I love the fact that the Giants keep on running Jones out there year after year, giving him no offensive line in front of him or Saquon Barkley. They wonder why Barkley's always hurt and injured. Well, you give him no fucking protection or push up front. It's no wonder you wasted one of the best running backs coming out of college's career by just letting him take a beating, him and Jones. Jones might actually be a decent quarterback if he had an offensive line and a team surrounding him. I don't like a lot of the Giants' moves and what they've done. I think Tennessee rolls here. I like them to win this game a lot. I like them to win this by like 35-17 or something along them lines and win and cover the spread. Pittsburgh plus 7 at Cincinnati minus 7. Over under 44.5 in this game. Bengals losing to the Rams in the Super Bowl, as we all know. Only 8 times in NFL history has the team who lost in the Super Bowl ever made it back to the big game in the following year. That stat doesn't bode well for the Bengals. You also got Joe Burrow, who had an emergency He had his fucking emergency appendix operation. I can't say the fucking word apparently now, so I'll just say that. And he lost a lot of weight, and that was only like a month and a half ago. So again, I might be playing the Steelers here to tip you off against the spread, even though the Bengals are the much better team in every facet. Pittsburgh's rebuilding. The Bengals beat the Steelers by a combined 45 points, 44 points, something like that last year in the 2 games they played, even though Steelers have controlled this series over the last 25, 28 games outside of last year, pretty much dominating the Bengals over the last 2 decades. The Steelers, however, they're rolling out Mitchell Trubisky, who is reliable enough to keep this game close if Burrow isn't at full health. I know they still got Joe Mixon in there. I know they got them one of the most exciting and young talents at wide receiver and Jamar Chase out there for the Bengals. And I know they tried to improve their offensive line, which Burrow took a beating last year. And without Burrow being fully healthy, a new offensive line, not having played a regular season game together yet, that makes me lean to Pittsburgh being able to keep this game close, definitely within the 7 points, a fierce division rivalry. This division is ground and pound, hard-nosed football, close games within it most of the time. I think the Steelers do enough to keep this game close. Burrow's health is the issue, like I said, and this has the makings to me for like a 17-14, 2017, 21-17 type of game. Definitely still like Cincinnati. They have too much talent not to win this game, in my opinion, but I like the Steelers to keep it close enough to cover the spread. Coming up to my two favorite games of the week. Baltimore -6.5. New York Jets +6.5 points. Over under in this one is 44, which I think is the number I'm going to play. I haven't mentioned over under play yet, I don't think. Obviously, you can tell by my final score predictions and the over under total that I give you where I think that number is going to fall, and you can figure that out from there. Baltimore Ravens are 9-1 against, or straight up, and 8-2 against spread in their last 10 games versus the Jets. Jets have made some nice draft picks, made some nice roster moves in all, but Lamar Jackson has garnered all the talk in the last week, with him and the Ravens failing to come to a contract extension before Friday's deadline. That's a self-imposed deadline by Lamar Jackson, who him and his mother are his own agents and do all the negotiations themselves. So the fact that he's going to play the final year under his rookie contract out is no big fucking deal. There's so many options and creative ways for both sides to keep Lamar in Baltimore beyond this year that it will not be a distraction at all for him, and he's going to come out and prove it. Lamar Jackson so far in his career has started 3 week 1 games. He's put up 41 plus points in every single one of those games so far. And I expect this one against a weak Jets opponent to be no different than his other 3. I love the Ravens here. I love Lamar Jackson being able to put points up on the board. I might even sprinkle some money on Lamar Jackson to get the first TD of the game. Maybe Lamar Jackson as a multi-TD scorer. I'll probably go over on Lamar's rushing props as well. I think the Ravens come in here and roll the Jets like 42-10, something like that. I think Lamar keeps that streak 4 week 1 games in a row, putting up 41 plus points in the season opener. I love the Ravens to win this division. I got them to win the division. I have a few parlays where I have the Ravens, the Titans, the Eagles, the Rams, the Bucks, and the Bills. Those are the 6 teams that I've been doing different parlays with division winners for different size payouts for the end of the season. I love all them teams to come through in the end. And then I got a couple smaller plays on like the Raiders to win their division, etc. Tampa Bay, New Orleans. I sprinkled a couple bucks on one bet for them to win, but I don't see them being able to take over the Bucks. Anyways, on to the final game on the schedule for week 1. It is my favorite. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. -5 at Detroit, +5, over under of 48.5. The Eagles absolutely fucking crushed the Lions last year, 44-6. Didn't allow a touchdown, just 2 little field goals. Or was it a touchdown and missed conversion? I can't fucking remember now. But it was 44-6. Detroit Lions, as much as they improved, as much as they've become loved on the Hard Knocks episodes over the course of the summer leading up to week 1, they did nothing to address their fucking run defense. And that is what hurt them against the Eagles last year. The Eagles rushed for over 200 fucking yards. It was all ground and pounded. The score could have been way higher, but they refused to do anything but run the ball because they were having so much success. Detroit hasn't addressed their tackling issue or their fucking run defense issue. Sure, they've got a nice pass rush trio in, Hutchinson, Harris, and Okwara, but what are they going to be able to how are they going to be able to affect the passing game if the Eagles are handing the ball off and getting them off their game, and then when they do a play action or an RPO or or whatever, or Hurts scampers out to the side, are they still going to be able to generate that pass rush because they're protecting against that run now all of a sudden in their minds? It's just like a boxer, keeping you ready for the jab, and then all of a sudden they throw the hook, and people wonder why it catches you off guard, because you're paying so much attention to that little annoying fucking jab coming at you nonstop the whole fight. The Eagles added A.J. Brown, big addition to the Eagles offense, to go with Dallas Goedert, Quez Watkins, Devontae Smith, who I think is going to have a huge season for this Eagles offense this year in his second season, with A.J. Brown garnering so much attention. Dallas Goedert is going to get so much attention at the tight end slot. They still got a four-headed running monster, Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, and Jalen Hurts. They don't have the big beast in Jordan Howard this year, but that run game is going to be phenomenal. Last year, Miles Sanders didn't play against Detroit either. He is a home run hitter. Can't believe he didn't have a fucking touchdown last year, and he rushed for as many yards as he did. I can't fucking remember off the top of my head anymore. I think the Eagles roll in week 1. I think this is another big blowout. I don't think Detroit's a very good team. They were an against spread cover machine last year. A lot of underdogs won early last year in the NFL season, but there was a lot of big numbers. Watch out, because this year, all them numbers are small. There's only, 2 games at 7? No games where a team is favored by more than 7 points in week 1. That is unreal. That the numbers are very close. There's a lot of 3s, 3.5s, 1s. A lot of smaller numbers this year. So I'm playing pretty 50-50. I'm going to have to go through and do the totals. But I feel like I did a pretty evenly based underdog and favorite outlook for week 1. Hopefully those numbers and picks come through. Hopefully the numbers help you. Remember, I'm probably not going to go perfect, and I'm definitely not going to go perfect throughout the entire NFL season. Nobody is. So pick and choose. If you feel strongly against a game, or your gut tells you something that you disagree with me, bet it. You don't have to bet what I tell you. I'm just giving you my opinion and the stats that I've researched, and I spend between 6 and 12 hours a week, every week, to make this video, researching my favorite stats before I do all my picks and whatnot. Maybe I'll take a picture of some of my futures. Maybe I'll pick one of my sites and take a pic of my future bets for the NFL. Maybe I'll do that with my FanDuel. I'll write down what the odds were when I placed my bet, and you'll see I do a lot of futures where I'll play I think I probably got 8 futures on the Eagles. Now, when I first started, there were smaller bets, $1, $5, $10, $20 as my bankroll increased, because I only start each gambling site I started when I opened my account. I only start with $20, $50. Let them match it, and then I roll and keep increasing, cash out, increase my bankroll, cash out, increase it in increments, how much I'm betting on each game. And I'll cap out, even no matter how much money I had, it just continues to go into a certain percentage that I do on each bet, no more than 10% of my bankroll. I don't mean you don't have to spend your whole bankroll in one night, but do at least 10 different bets or something so you're not losing or putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, where you're trying to hit a home run on one bet. Do a couple long shots, a couple parlays, and a couple favorites to at least try to break even on the night, if not be in the positive. Anyways, good luck with week 1. I'm going to do this show every week. Hopefully I can have some guests on talking with me, because I much prefer a conversation, or maybe once I get more familiar with all this social media shit and how it works properly, I'll do some live ones, but I don't know how good my interactions will be, because, well, that's the part I'm not so good at with all this shit. Anyways, that's it for this week. Peace. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby.